Say your.
What's going on, La Familia?
What's popping?
Welcome back, Good Noodles family. This is Willie Knight, first of his name, alongside my brothers from another mother, but don't let Janine tell it, Mr. Isaac Brugal Papi Champu Chancla Marera.
Yes, sir.
And the one and only Mr. Beautiful Dad Hats Are Us, Adam Maldonado. I'm sorry for the listeners at home that can't see this beautiful dad hat that Adam has. That's a really nice fucking hat, Adam.
Appreciate it, bro.
I'm super jealous.
I'm about to put some fire on the.
So, welcome back, loyal noodles, for another installment of the Good Noodles Podcast. Today, the name of this episode is called Toxic is Toxic. Let me tell you, we got some toxic things that we want to have a conversation about. And we appreciate you joining us. We also have some of our favorite segments today. What scuffs your timbs? And we
Absolutely.
talk about that. We also have a segment that we haven't spoken about in a while. It's called Top 5. And we're going to go over our top 5 least favorite things about a relationship. Disclaimer right now. Don't think just because we said it on this show that we going through it in life. So
right, please. Oh my Lord.
For the sake of
because we talking about it does not mean we going through it in our relationships or going through it with our homeboys or any of our family members. We just talking about it in general.
Facts.
All right. So, fellas, ladies, grab your pen and paper, start jotting down notes. Because once this is all said and done, we're going to talk about something that has affected potentially everyone of our loyal noodles. We're going to chop it up about toxic friendships, toxic relationships, toxic stuff at work, toxic things in society, masculinity, femininity, all that stuff, baby. So, without further ado, Mr. Isaac Chancla Morera, take us into the first segment, my brother.
All right. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on what time you're listening to us.
Grand
As Willie said, my name is Isaac Brugal Papi, a.k.a. Chancleta, a.k.a. whatever you want to call me, whatever night it is. Our first segment.
Let's go.
Our first segment we're going to talk about, we're going into top 5 least favorite parts of a relationship. Now, with that being said, clearly all of us are not up there in age, but, you know, we ain't kids no more. We ain't puppies. We all been through stuff. We've been in multiple relationships in our lives. Well, don't let Willie tell it. Vanessa was his one and only.
I've only been in one.
I've been in a few.
There ain't no hiding that. I got no shame in my game. It just makes me a better man today because I lived and I learned. But anyway. So
that was toxic.
Well, way to lead into that segment.
Exhibit A.
Exhibit A. But anyway, no, on a serious note, man, we'll start off. I'll kick off. You know, one of the things that is my least favorite, and then we'll just kind of wrap it up from there. Not wrap it up, excuse me. We'll just keep it going from there. One of the biggest things that I hate in relationships, and I mean, I hate it with a passion, and hate is a strong word, is indecisiveness. And I don't mean that from only a perspective of like the one, you know, the memes that are made about, oh, she can't figure out where to eat, things of that nature. I'm talking about indecisiveness as a whole. I'm talking about indecisiveness as a whole in a relationship. Like from the bare, just strip it down. Do you even want to be in this relationship? Like one day you're in, one day you're out. You know, indecisiveness in how much you want to give in this relationship. One day you give me 30%, one day you give me 50. Let's talk about it.
If they doing that, they cheating.
Indecisiveness.
Let's be real, bro. Like if they doing that, they cheating, bro. Like, okay.
But I mean, that is a good point.
Percentage.
Right, but that's I'm talking about in a relationship. Nobody can give 100%. And I'm talking about you have to meet each other in the middle. Whether it's I'm having a rough week and you got to give me 80 and I can only give you 20 as far as a whole unit. I'm not talking about as an individual. You only give me 50% of you. I'm talking about as a unit, as a relationship, you have to meet somebody halfway or whatever your definition of halfway is, whether it's 70-30, whether you financially are putting more forth, you know, than your partner because whether they're struggling or whatever the case may be. Emotionally, some people just show emotions in different ways, but I need to know that. Like, don't just let me figure it out for myself. Be decisive. Say, hey, look, this is who I am. This is how I act. Let's learn how to work on this together. This whole have me sitting here trying to guess, a million ways to die because I don't know what the hell you want. That shit is literally fucking annoying as hell.
Facts.
Nah, that's facts, bro. I think one of the things that really irks me the most is like when I see people that don't have like individual time to themselves, because what it leads to, in my opinion, is it leads to you hearing something like this. When y'all are in a tough part of the relationship or marriage or whatever the case may be, you hear something to the effect of, I think we need to take a break so I can focus on myself.
Right.
Why are you in any situation that does not allow you to focus on you? Like, I don't think I've ever been in a relationship or anything where I couldn't focus on myself. Like, I understand you want to invest your time and effort into the relationship or whatever, but you're not going to make anything better if you don't focus on yourself at some point in time. Like, get your ass up, go to the gym. Y'all sitting at the crib doing nothing. Go to the gym or something. Go do whatever it is that you want to do. Go play ball with your boys or whatever the case may be. Go out with your girls.
Right.
Like, I hate when I hear that. Like, I think we should take a break because I need to focus on myself. What?
Why do you need to, be separate in order to focus on yourself? The great part of most healthy relationships is that it's two people who are individuals but come together as one. So meaning you can have success as an individual at the same time as having success as being one unit. You know what I mean? So I get what you're saying, bro. Like, that's 100% facts.
That's my biggest thing. What you got, Adam?
My thing is communication, bro. Because like communication goes both ways. But if, like, say, I don't know, I'm real blunt and I try to talk about shit up front.
Right.
And I don't really like doing the whole like talk about shit through text messages. I'd rather talk about shit in person.
Facts.
Especially if it's like big.
I hate the we need to talk later shit too.
Boy, I have anxiety.
I have anxiety. We're gonna talk about it now. I can't do
Everybody hates that we need to talk text.
Nah, fam.
Bro,
talk later. Hey, I'm dropping everything we talking right now.
Facts.
Nah, but it's just like communication goes both ways, but then you gotta take it as, so say me and you talking, but the way I'm saying something, you might perceive it one way, but I didn't mean it that way. So then it's like perception. And then I might have just said it not in the way that you wanted, you know what I'm saying? So it might come off wrong, but it's like I'm just really just trying to get what I'm feeling out there, and then you just took it the wrong way. So then now that goes with communication. So now we talking about something completely different because now you feel some type of way about what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and you just hit one point, but with two levels to it, because communication isn't just speaking to each other, but communication is also learning each other. And what I mean by that is you have to be able to communicate, clearly with your partner as to everybody understands things their own certain way. Everybody processes information their own way. We're all individuals. So you need to be able to communicate to your partner and say, hey, when you say this, I feel as of this. Sometimes some people may need you to break it down Barney style. Some people you could just be like, some people have been together for so long that you barely even have to speak. You know what I'm saying? So I think your point about communication is talk to each other, but also learn how to talk to each other. You feel me?
Yeah, that brings me, like, I don't know. I y'all niggas ain't gonna believe me, but sometimes I do read. Fuck you, Isaac. So there's this book called The 5 Love Languages, and
I was just about to talk about the 5 love languages as my next point, but yeah, go on.
It was like in that book, like you really need to learn. It's not even like when it says love languages, but they have like a kid version because I've read the one for dealing with children.
Yeah, right. They got a military. They got a military version too.
Mm-hmm.
I should have started too.
So it's like
I meant to grab that shit.
you got shit. I can send you mine. The you gotta learn, like it says love language, but you gotta learn that it's not just love language. You gotta bring, once you like read the book, you can bring that into every relationship, like
Correct.
friendships, like
Yep.
associates. It
Yeah.
doesn't just have to be strictly with relationships. It could be with anything, because not every time we talk about a relationship does it mean like a significant other.
So
Like,
I picked up the Five Love Languages book for the first time during marriage counseling, um, and it was a shock and awe to me because me and my former partner, me and her, like I believe I did the test first. She was kind of reluctant to do it, but she did it, and I don't remember exactly what the results were. And I realized that the way I was trying to love her, or the way I thought that she needed to be loved, was actually the complete opposite of what she actually needed. So it was a real eye opener. And like, same thing with me. Like, I took the test twice initially, and I alternated like between the same two love languages. So like, basically those were my two. And it was kind of like, she was like, oh, I could have seen that. But at the same time, like, she really didn't know that there was this other thing that I needed more than another. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
yeah, because that also bumps back with communication, bro. Like, you got to learn your partner,
Right.
or like, whether
You also got to learn yourself, Adam.
Yep.
Like, circling, I don't want to circle back, but you have to have that time to yourself to know what you like, because how many times have you ever been in a relationship, and this is also for the loyal noodles listening and watching, and you honestly just don't know what you want from that other person, or what that's missing. And sometimes you just got to do some soul searching to figure that out. I think another, like, my least favorite part, or like another one of my least favorite part, before I do,
I gotta say something. Pause. Like,
one of our damn loyal noodles said, sharing my damn meals is one of my least favorite parts.
I don't like.
Hey, look, no.
I don't like sharing my food.
I don't, man. Like, and it's annoying because
I really don't mind it.
So it's not that okay.
Nah, it's cool. Like, oh, you want to try it, but you ain't about to be staying eating off my food.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I
think because I done ate so much of Janine's food that I'm just like, it is what it is. Like, and plus, usually I don't have that problem because Vanessa don't really like shit the way I like it. Like, my steak is usually like rare, medium rare. She don't like that shit.
Right.
Or like,
no, I remember.
So like, I don't, when I go out to eat, I don't like limit anybody on what they buy. Like,
no, not at all.
So then whenever we go out to eat, like, I get my food, and then you got your plate, and then you want to eat completely off mine. Like, nah, bro. Like, you had a chance to order your food, fam. Like,
better, bro.
No, dog. Like, I remember I was dealing with this woman one time. We haven't seen each other for a little bit, and she was one of those, bro. Like, we could order food together, and not 10 out of 10 times we could order from the same restaurant, and I got something, and we just watching a movie or something, and she'll be eating her food, and in the middle of eating her food, she would try to eat my, like, be like, oh, can I get a wing or whatever? No, bro, we ordered from the same place. And then it was to the point that, like, she would just stop by, like, just for a quick hello or whatever. And a specific example is I ordered food and it got here while she was here, just, saying what up. And she was like, no, you're not going to sit down and eat? I was like, nope, I'm waiting till you leave because you're going to try to eat my damn food, bro. Like, no, man. That shit is annoying.
You ain't have to do all that, bro.
Yeah, bro.
So what we got so far on the list? What we got so far?
Indecisiveness, communication, and what was yours, Willie?
Individual time.
Individual time.
Okay. I don't. Where y'all putting those right now? Because I'm not gonna front. I'm not gonna be partial, but I like Adams. That communication is.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to talk to
me, one, bro.
Yeah. If you don't know how to talk to me, and I don't know how to talk to you, it's not much is gonna get said. And I don't care how good the sex is or how fine you are. Like, if we don't know how to talk to each other, it's not good.
So I had lack of communication as my number 2 when I made my personal list. I had indecisiveness actually as number 3, and then and I actually didn't have individual time on mine, but that's a good one though.
Indecisiveness, I don't know. Here's where I don't give a fuck if you're indecisive. If I'm hungry and you're hungry and you can't figure it out, I'm gonna figure it out.
Right. That's on a surface level.
Okay, on a surface level. Okay, cool. Hold on.
Yeah.
Stay with me. If we're together and you playing a light switch game where you off and on, and I've played the light switch game, I'm not gonna say
yeah. So have I.
Motherfucker, like it sounded like a rave in that motherfucker. If I'm gonna go live my life. Like you off,
right?
Like I'm gonna go live my life. That shit don't bother me. You want it? Here you go, fam. Oh, you don't want it anymore? All right, bet you don't got it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm no longer at that point in my life where that really.
Well, I think we got to remember a lot of these, with our top 5 least favorite, parts of relationships. You got to remember a lot of these that we're putting out there are going to be very personally biased based off experiences, because I may have never been in a relationship or been getting to know somebody where lack of communication was an issue. You feel me? So like, it may not be the first thing that I bring up. You get what I'm saying? So it just, that's something to remember, that when we're speaking on, it's our top 5 and we're speaking on our experiences. So for me, indecisiveness is a big one, just because I can think of 2 actual like serious relationships that I've been in where that was a major issue, where I woke up in the morning and I didn't know if you're going to be here or not. You know what I'm saying? You're muted, bro.
I think what should happen or needs to happen in those situations to just let time pass.
Right.
I think that individual time kind of like would help, but again, let me not be biased. So we got 3 really good ones on there. Tell us some of the what the Loyal Noodles had to say. I know we did a brief poll on our social media platforms, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And shout out to the Loyal Noodles that gave us some answers to their least favorite parts of relationships. So talk to us about that, Mr. Chancleta.
So guest submissions, the Loyal Noodles again. I know we say it every episode, but thank you so much for interacting with us, because this is what keeps the show interesting, because it's not just the 4 good noodles, it's the Loyal Noodles also giving us the input. So some of the guest submissions were arguing, which was one of mine as well. Miscommunication, basically lack of communication, like Adam said. Lack of trust, it's a big one. Lack of dedication, which that can be parlayed into like 4 different levels as to like lack of dedication
means a couple of different things, really.
Right. Selfishness, which that's a big one, and again, that's another one that can be split into like 4 different levels, because there's many levels of being selfish. And then sharing my damn meals.
That was a funny one.
Right.
I want the Loyal Noodles to guess in the comments or Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, if y'all thought the sharing my meals was a male or female, was a woman or man.
Was a woman.
You almost.
All right, Isaac. I already know.
Yeah, you almost slipped up there, player. It's all right. Players fuck up too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, y'all let us know what y'all thought. If sharing my damn meals was a woman or a man that said that. I want to know y'all thoughts.
But yeah, so there's a couple good ones on there, man. Like I said, 2 of these.
I like the lack of dedication,
because, like I said, there's so many levels to that.
Yeah, because that shit's really broad.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you do get to a certain point. Like, okay, one of the most annoying parts of a relationship, and it's usually one of the happiest, is the beginning. The most annoying part is the fucking beginning. Like, it's so annoying.
Oh, that's the honeymoon stage.
Oh, it's so fucking annoying. Like,
because it's so good.
All you want to do is just be smothered with that person. Like, it's just so terrible.
Yeah, no. So like that, like you said, that like, well, excuse me, like Adam said, that honeymoon phase, man. Like, don't get it twisted. It's great, like when the honeymoon phase lasts a while, but you got to remember, sometimes that dose of reality hits you out of nowhere if you don't really dig deep into like the relationship that you're getting yourself into. Because the honeymoon phase is nice and all. It's great. It's great to have, because it's that initial euphoria of being with somebody new, and they're making you happy, and they're teaching you all these different things, and you're seeing like a whole new side of the world, basically. But you got to remember that underneath that, there's layers. Like, it could be something as small as you don't like the way the motherfucker chew, but you don't notice it because you're in the honeymoon phase. You know what I'm saying? Right. So you gotta be honest with yourself, and that's why, like me, and I don't want to say my old age, but my age, being 29 years old and being in the relationships that I've been in and having the life experience, I kind of like to put. I enjoy the honeymoon phase, but I like to put things into perspective and kind of give myself a pause every so often and be like, hey, let me dissect this from another view. Like, yeah, you know, she's making me happy, but I noticed this. Maybe this is something that I need to talk to her about. You know, that way we're on the same page, type of thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, I mean that's a big one, man. Like that was a good one, Willie.
See, I like the whole trust one because I feel like trust and communication, bro, is the base of any relationship.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't trust nobody, like, you really ain't gonna like be able to do anything.
Yeah, and that lack of trust.
You're only gonna be able to do but so much and look at them but so much.
So yeah, and the thing is that, like we said before too, with the lack of dedication, that lack of trust one can go on many different levels, because sometimes people are different, like we've discussed on many occasions. So some people go into a relationship blindly trusting somebody until that other person makes them lose trust. Some people go into a relationship with no trust at all and expect the other person to build the trust. So sometimes you being that person that's getting into a relationship with somebody, you're in a bad spot because you didn't do anything for this person not to trust you, but based on their previous experiences in life, that's just the situation you're in. So even though you didn't do anything wrong, you have to work on building trust that you never lost.
Yeah, see, and that's toxic within itself. Like, I'm not about to pay for nobody else's mistakes.
Right. So now, but the thing is, like, I agree with you, but let's kind of find a balance with that word toxic, because you also can't be mad at somebody for having previous traumas. Now, you could be mad at the fact that you're paying for somebody else's mistakes, but everybody has trauma in relationships. Everybody's been through some shit.
Oh, yeah, bro. Everybody got skeletons in their closet. But
right.
I ain't about to be paying for somebody's skeleton from 6 months, 3 years. Like, I'm my own person, bro. Like, if I fucked up, cool, bro. Like, I'm all for dealing with my traumas, but I ain't trying to pay for somebody else's mistake.
It really depends on how bad you want to be with that person, though. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, like, yeah, you say I get what you're saying, and I tend to agree, but like, if you finally with this person and they make you happy and they fulfill you, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, monetarily, no matter all phases of everything that you need, but that one problem is that they had some fucked up shit to happen to them in the past, and you just need to be patient and build the trust within them. You might just take that L and be like, you know what? It's worth my happiness. So I'm just saying it's situation based.
I could dig it.
Yeah. All right. So with that being said, that pretty much rounds out our top 5. Loyal Noodles, if you guys have any opinions, any feedback that you want to give us on what we covered as far as our least favorite part of relationships, or if you have anything that you want to input and, you know, add on to the already ongoing discussion, because clearly y'all know this is something we could talk about for days. So with that being said, we're going to move into one of our classic segments called What Scuffs My Timbs. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it off, and then Willie's going to follow up right behind me. This one is actually one that, like, hits home for me just because it's something that I've dealt with later in life, and especially, you know, since I've been in the military, and it's people who feel like members of the opposite sex can't have a friendship without there being something more than a friendship. That shit literally drives me up a fucking wall, bro, because hell, two of my closest friends in life are both women. You know, regardless of sexual orientation, one's straight, one's gay. Like, I never, ever, ever have seen them as more than just a friend. Like, I never even thought about it. I never even considered it. Like, never. And like, we see all like the funny videos and, you know, the TikToks and the memes talking about, telling women that, you know, their guy best friend still wants to fuck them. Like, I mean, that may be the case for some people, but for me, it's not. And like, every time, like, you know, I'll hang out with one of my, you know, really close friends, you know, like, I've had people make comments on like a picture that I'll post on Instagram or on Snapchat, like, "Ooh, that's your new girl." No, bro, that's my best friend. Like, I don't understand why it's automatically an assumption. You know what I mean? Especially if I'm not putting that kind of energy out there, you know?
I mean, that's just society, bro. Like, perception is everything. Like, people think if you post somebody in your story or you post somebody on your Facebook or Instagram, like, they automatically assume like that, oh, that's you. Oh,
right.
Relationship, y'all messing around, y'all doing something. It's like, and that's like it boils back to what I was saying, bro. That's communication and perception, bro. It's like
100%, man. It all comes full circle.
The generation you live in, bro. Like people get mad based off of like who you follow, like you liking the picture,
right?
Like all that shit. I don't know, bro. Don't none of that shit really mean shit to me, bro. Like
it don't. It's annoying just because of the fact that like it creates awkward situations, man. Because like me, like obviously, you know, for the loyal noodles who've been listening for a while now, I have a very outgoing personality. I like to talk. I'm usually, how do I say this where it doesn't come off weird? Like I have a very dominant personality in the sense of like, you know, I like to like be around certain things and do things a certain way. So like I have no problems like posting up and you know showing a picture of me and my homegirl on Snapchat, on Instagram, and just be like, oh, that's my best friend type thing. You know what I'm saying? But then you get the people who automatically make an assumption like, oh, they fucking. Like, come on, bro, that's childish. Like, are we still in high school? You know what I mean? Like, that shit is childish as hell to me.
Yeah, but wouldn't you want your relationship or whatever to come from a friendship and not just from some chick you met at a bar?
No. So the thing is, I get that point, but the thing is, until I put that kind of energy out there, stop making assumptions. Like if one of my good friends who happen to be a woman, if me and said person later on down the line decided that we wanted to like, you know, escalate our friendship into something non-platonic, cool. But like until that point, like if I'm not giving any indication of it, then stop making an assumption. Like to me, that's childish as hell.
I don't think it's childish as much as it is insecure. Like don't you sit there, you might come from the whole like, well, we started as friends or whatever the case may be. But I don't know, as a significant other, if you hitting your spouse with the like they're someone you don't have to worry about or whatever, like you got to keep that same energy. And then what happens is that person, or like let's say you and your significant other, Isaac, y'all break up.
I already know you're going with this.
Y'all break up, and then boom, you and that person that they didn't have to worry about, y'all are a thing now. So it's like, what happened? I thought that was just your friend. So that happens often, and then that really
let me tell you about 2018.
Man, like it happens, and then like it just becomes like it becomes a bitter taste in that person's mouth or whatever the case may be. Pause. And then it doesn't really go well, because now it's just like, even for the next one, they're looking at like, oh, well, I've been in that predicament where someone's telling me you don't have to worry about them or whatever the case. So it's really fucking tough, but I see what you're saying though, Isaac.
But sometimes like you really don't have to worry about them.
You really don't. And I'm not like, I support that there are plenty of friendships that involve opposite sex that you just don't have to fucking worry about. Like it don't
but
gotta
some
be
people really just can't grasp that concept.
right. Like, I don't know. It is what it is. So let me tell y'all something that scuffs my timbs. And I appreciate Mr. Isaac for bringing that up. Before I go, I want to invite the loyal noodles at home or in your car, on the bus, train, whatever you listening to the Good Noodles podcast. I invite you to tell us what scuffs your timbs, no matter what it is. You could comment on the YouTube video. You could hit us up on Facebook. You could text us individually. You could hit us up on Instagram, Twitter. It's easy to find the Good Noodles podcast. So if y'all got something to say, please say it. Something that scuffs my timbs, bro, is when people be all up in my plate. And what I mean by that is like, I like my food a certain way, and then people got something to say about it. Like, okay, like I was having a conversation the other day. People were like trying to call me weird because I put ketchup on eggs. But then I was like, I'm cool with putting syrup on eggs too. So what? Either way, my whole thing is, how the fuck does that affect you? Like how I eat my fucking food. Like that shit annoys me to the T, bro. Like, why are you so worried about that shit, man?
I do think that's weird. You eat ketchup on eggs, but
that's because you from the Bronx and you don't ever get no bacon, nigga, cheese, salt, pepper, ketchup, hot sauce.
He's not from the Bronx. He's from Florida.
I don't.
Oh, that's right. It's not a North Carolina thing. The only place in North Carolina you get a good bacon, nigga, cheese, salt, pepper, ketchup, hot sauce is called New York Hero on Ramsey Street. But that's cool.
Nah, I just never. I ain't never really fuck with ketchup, bro.
So what you put on your eggs? Syrup?
Cheese.
That's it? Just eggs and cheese?
Yeah.
So you just scramble some eggs, throw some cheese on it.
Or I eat them over easy. Throw some eggs, cheese, ham, or bacon, sausage.
So let's talk about the fact that I'm 27 now. Let's talk about the fact that I was 27 when I found out what over easy meant.
I still don't know what it means.
I had no fucking clue what that shit meant. Like, I could never order eggs at a restaurant because if they ask me how I want them, I'm like, I don't know, but the only one I know is scrambled. So
this nigga was always saying scrambled. Scrambled.
Scrambled. There's another way other than scrambled. My dumb ass, I will legit get a bacon, egg, and cheese every morning, and that was not scrambled, but it is what it is. But that's really what scuffs my Timbs. Like, stay the fuck up on my plate. You don't gotta eat this shit. I didn't offer you none. Like, none of that shit. Like, mind you.
Y'all got a question.
What's
Y'all
up?
eat grits?
Do I use what?
Do you eat grits?
I'm from Brooklyn. We don't eat grits.
Well, I was about to say.
No, I'm saying I don't eat grits either. I never really could fuck with it.
I'm pretty sure we just lost a third of our southern listeners.
I can't flex. The only one time that I like grits was my old NCOIC. She put shrimp and cheese. I don't know how she did it, but she was like, "Yo, just try it." That was the only person's grits I've ever been able to stomach. Other than that, like, bro, I can't stand grits.
I think the best time I ever had grits was when somebody made it and didn't give me any. That was my favorite. I was like, wow, I love you so much for making this and putting it nowhere near me. That's great. Yo, what's the weirdest shit y'all ever ate? Food wise, not the weird. Never mind. Just
there was this one time in Canarsie.
Oh my God. He kept swiping her Metro card wrong, and then fast forward a few hours later.
Shorty had the green student Metro.
And
you were a student too.
Nah.
Anyway,
he was a student. He was just never in class.
Bitch, fuck you. I graduated top of my class. It was only 80 of us, but I graduated top of my class.
Did you go to like automotive or some shit?
Yes, bro. Bro, our graduating class, and I think 80 is exaggerating.
Bro, there was 80 people in that school, and 50 of them were staff.
Right, bro. Our baseball team was lit, though. But anyway.
I bet it was. What's the weirdest shit you ever ate? The weirdest shit I ever ate was cow tongue.
I was just about to say, I've been eating cow tongue.
I didn't know it was cow tongue.
My grandmother would the shit out of me to eat cow tongue, bro.
I didn't know it was cow tongue. My boy Jules, shout out to Jules. I was at his house and his mom they Haitian, so you know I learned early not to ask what's on the plate. I just.
And I was told we can't do that when you go to somebody's house.
Exactly.
Facts.
Yo, every time I went over to Jules' house, his mom would be like, she'd be like, Edu, because she called him Edu. Edu, ask Wishart if he's hungry. And I'm like, oh, I'm not hungry.
I'm not hungry, fam.
I'm not. But then he'd be like, yeah, he'll take some. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Yo, she bringing me up a big ass plate, bro, because generous with the food over there. I'm just like, all I know on this is rice. I don't know nothing else on here, but I ate that shit. Yo, the cow tongue, that shit was slap, bro. I'm like, yo, Jules, let me get some more of that meatloaf. He was like, oh, the cow tongue. I'm like, no. I don't know what the fuck that was that you just said, but no, don't put that on my plate. That right there. He's like, bro, that's cow tongue. I'm like, oh, that shit was.
Bro, my grandmother, like, you know how you be going near a boiler's house and then she just be cooking and then you be smelling, you be like, yo, that shit smell good as shit. And oh yeah, papi, ven acá. Come here. You want to try this? I was like, hell yeah. I was like, all right, let's go. She gave me like a spoonful of rice, the big ass fucking metal spoon, threw that shit in a little bowl, and then went and got this fucking ladle and got the cow tongue and poured that shit over the rice. She was like, go. So I was like, all right. So I went to the table, bro. That shit fucking was lit. I was like, yo, can I get some more? And she was like, she's like, all right. Bro, she let me eat 3 bowls of the shit before
she told you what it was.
Nigga, I was full of shit, and then
I just want to make it perfectly clear to the loyal noodles listening and tuning in that Adam Googled all that Spanish shit. He said
100%. My man was sitting there on Google Translate as he was talking.
Cum said dice. I mean, como said. What about you, Isaac? What's the weirdest shit you ever ate?
I had gator.
Gator. What part of Florida was this?
Believe it or not, Miami.
Oh,
yeah, I had some gator.
You didn't know what anything was at that time. You was just
that was a rough 4 days for my brain cells.
Oh man, this is your brain on drugs.
How did you have it? Because I had it fried.
Yeah, we had it fried. I didn't know what it was. That shit was juicy as hell, though.
The only time I had
it tastes like chicken.
Only time I had gator was on a belt. My first swing and a miss all season. Fuck you guys.
You sure about that? Because you had some missteps last week.
They were funny though.
Hey Adam, I didn't know that there was male and female cows, bro.
What?
That's Willie.
But that was funny though. I just said my first non-funny joke of the year. So fuck you, bitch.
We're only 30 days in.
I hope the monument on your hat falls off and gets fucking invaded. Bitch ass. All right, take us into the main event, bro.
Hold on.
So,
y'all shark?
Huh?
You already shark?
Hell no.
Adam, we haven't agreed. Don't try to bring up some shit that's gonna out me on the motherfucking podcast because I'll put your bitch ass in the waiting room again.
No ball.
Why'd you put him in the waiting room? You ain't shit.
Cause motherfucker was pissing me off. I'm gonna let him in, y'all. Welcome back, Puto. Adam, that means by the way.
Oh my god.
So with that being said, that's what scuffs are, Timbs. Like Willie said at the beginning, like feel free to chime in and let us know what scuffs y'all Timbs, your Converse, your Uggs, your Sperry's, whatever you rocking for that day. Let me know what scuffs them.
Your chanclas, your phone closets, your cowboy boots.
Hell, your Jesus chanclas, whatever it is.
Yo, if you got the Jerusalem 7s, yo, if it scuffs them, you let us know.
Let us know. So, with that being said, we gonna go ahead and move into this said main event for today.
Ooh, I like it.
Ooh, this one got my back tingling a little bit. So Adam, put a shirt on. Main topic for today: toxic relationships, friendships, and stigmas. Whoa. All right. So, a couple things that we're going to cover. We're going to cover toxic masculinity. I'm fucking up tonight.
That word.
Toxic. That shit tore my ass up. Toxic.
You would have tried again. I still got time to edit it.
And I want
toxic malfunctions of
the so toxic femininity, everything.
Still double back.
I'm not going to, man. I'm good with my mistakes. I'm good with it.
Go ahead.
We just gonna cover everything toxic. We gonna chop it up. We gonna talk about it. We might even throw some personal experiences in there. I believe we have. We didn't get any fan submissions for this one, but we expect y'all to chime in after we give our opinions on it and let us know what y'all feel is toxic. So Willie, go ahead and hit the ball off the tee and get us popping.
All right, loyal noodles. Here is the moment why the good noodles have come together today, dearly beloved. We are
gathered here.
We are gathered here before you today to join in toxic matrimony.
I've been in a couple of those.
As I was saying, we are gathered here before you today to join in toxic matrimony, the knowledge of toxic behavior, and the acceptance of one's antics. And listen up, loyal noodles. If you don't know what toxic is, or if you don't
probably
know,
toxic,
and you don't, or you don't know what, if you don't know what behaviors constitute as being toxic, and some of these that we're about to talk about sounds like you, guess what, fam?
You toxic.
You're toxic.
If you've been in multiple relationships and you haven't figured out that you're the problem yet,
ooh, you just might have to be. Okay, so we're gonna get to the meat and veggies. Pause. We're gonna talk about some real toxic shit in life. Loyal noodles. We're about to dive in like Trick or Trey did at the Chiefs game. So first things
this weekend too, by the way.
You what?
Chiefs losing this weekend.
That's wonderful.
Sure.
So
Adam, the fact that you actually believe that's true is toxic.
Adam is a toxic NFL fan. Anyway, we're gonna talk about actually Adam. Okay, I'm sorry. I know we keep getting sidetracked. Adam is actually probably one of the most loyal fans of his team since I've known him. He has been a Buccaneers fan somehow since I met him. Somehow.
He's been holding out strong. You know,
I don't get it. He's from the Bronx that lived in Fayetteville, has some 10 years in Florida. I don't know. He's a Bucs fan, and that's just always how he's been since I met him. So shout out to you guys. I hope Tom Brady doesn't fucking win on Sunday, but it is what it is. Anyway.
And this is the only time I'm ever cheering for Tom Brady.
That's because you don't know what greatness is, and that's what makes you a toxic NFL fan. Anyway, society. We're going to just get right into it. Society. Okay? It's just the things we see in the world or in America, whatever it is, it's just toxic to people's development, to people's lives. And first things first, we just going to go right into it. Toxic masculinity.
Peace, Uncle Phil.
That's what's up. Rest in peace, Uncle Phil, for real. Toxic masculinity, that machismo, that don't gotta be a thing, bro. Like the toxic masculinity that the man has to do this, the man has to do that, the man has to be emotionless, or he is weak, or he can't seek help, or he is not the man of the house. He has to be the sole breadwinner, or you're not the man. Like, that's toxic masculinity.
Yes, hell.
Like, if you are putting anybody, any gender in but we're talking about masculinity. If you're putting men in a specific role, a universal role, a blanket role that every man has to fit, that's fucking toxic, my G. I'm sorry.
I agree. And I mean, I think I'll speak on like personally on that one, because that you mentioned it, that whole, men have to be emotionless, or if not, they're weak. That's some of the greatest bullshit I ever heard in my life. Because if you don't make yourself emotionally available to relationships, platonic or not, 99% of the time they're gonna fail. And I can speak on it. Me and Willie done been on the couch boo-hooing about some shit, and because
listening to Drake,
right? Stop. Because there was this
fuck up, bro.
There was one time
we can't tell Adam nothing.
Shit. There was this one time on Bragg Boulevard when Drake dropped an album.
Bruh.
So go ahead.
I'm being serious with that. Like, I've learned it. Like, even like as a kid, I had that problem because my dad, for those of you that don't know, there was a huge age gap between my mom and my dad. So my dad was 2 generations behind. When my dad passed away in 2015, he was 86. So, you know what I'm saying? He came from that era where it was straight. Like, the only time I ever saw my father or heard my father cry was when he was on his deathbed and he knew he was about to go. And that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. Me seeing that actually had the reverse effect. Usually, we've talked about one of our first episodes being a product of your environment. I was a product of my environment, but in a reverse kind of way. What made me who I am was seeing my father be the way he was and how he shut my mom out. And I never wanted to be that way. So that's why it's a positive and a negative, where I am so open emotionally, and I'll tell you how I feel, and I don't give a damn if you call me emotional or whatever the case may be, but you're going to see where I'm coming from. And I think that's led to some downfalls, but that's also led for me to be successful in certain aspects of life. And I would rather be this way than be a closed off, man that thinks that, I can't show any emotion, and, my kids aren't going to know how I feel about them, or whatever the case may be. You feel me?
Thanks.
So I think,
but also when you become emotional, sometimes I just call you a bitch.
So I think what really is the end result of toxic masculinity is just, number one, you're creating an insecure man, because here's what's gonna happen. That all that machismo that's been put inside of you, pause, your whole life, you now become insecure because you're gonna meet a strong-minded woman or a very strong-willed woman, and she's not gonna take your shit. She's not gonna say, no, you are the greatest shit ever. She's gonna tell you, no, you're being garbage right now, and you're not gonna know what to do with it, and you're gonna feel like, I'm above you, I'm a man. I have all this masculinity, all this machismo. Like, I am above you just because I am me. Like, that is toxic, my brother. Like, cut that shit out. Your shit stinks too. It does.
Yo, the realest shit my grandmother told me is when you point a finger at somebody, you point 3 back at yourself.
Ooh, the bars. She said it in Spanish?
Yeah. But I don't remember how she said that shit.
Yo, Willie, you are an asshole,
that's
bro.
What I was getting at. No, but go ahead. Say it again. That was good. I like that.
Yeah, she I forgot what my cousin did. And like she was snitching on my other cousin. And she just kept fucking pointing at him. And she was like this. And then my grandmother blanked. She just came out the room cussing at us and telling us pretty much to shut the fuck up. And then she realized that they was arguing. And then she told my cousin, she was like, yo, every time you point at somebody, you got 3 fingers pointing right back at you. And then my cousin just was like looking at her hand. I was like, yo, that was the realest shit I ever heard.
You sitting there with like this for the rest of the day, like, that's crazy. No matter
what. So you know what's crazy, bro, is that, believe it or not, that toxicity that sometimes gets implanted into, boys and men doesn't always come from male figures. There's women that implant that.
Oh yeah.
Though I'm gonna tell you, because a specific example of that is when I remember when I was a kid. I lived a little bit of the Fresh Prince lifestyle. My mom moved me away to live with my auntie and my cousins in the Dominican Republic, right? So I was the youngest, and I was also the smallest. So it was trash day, and we had a bunch of trash because we had just done some renovations in the backyard. And I was only like 7 years old, and I was struggling with one of the bags. It was heavy as fuck. And I remember my aunt came to the back, and she saw me struggling, and I'm thinking she's gonna get either one of my cousins to help, or she's just gonna help me. And she started going off on me, talking about, I'm acting like a little bitch. I should be a man, blah, blah, blah. If I can't carry a trash bag, what the fuck kind of man I'm going to be in life? And bro, believe it or not, like, it sounds like something small, but that's something that always played in the back of my head growing up.
So I love that. But my mom Janine went about it in a total different way. She just said I was the only one that could take out the trash. That was it. It was just... Right, it was just me. Like, if the trash wasn't taken out, I would just get in trouble. But Janine never made it a man thing. She just said, I, as in her, like, I'm not taking out the trash because you're here. So it wasn't, she never made it
right. Like, and that's different. There's different ways of going about it. You know what I mean?
And I think you brought up something that can really take us into another thing that I think is really toxic, and that's toxic gender roles.
Agreed.
Nah, but that's like me, bro. Like, the boys and me take out the trash. The girls will not touch the trash can.
Why not?
But you made that choice. You didn't make it because you're a man and whatever. Like, you made that choice because you're raising young men and you're teaching them core values that you have. It's not necessarily a machismo thing. You know what I mean?
So I think the toxic gender roles are a thing, and you're looking, and for those that are looking, the loyal noodles, and for the loyal noodles that are listening, you guys are joining. The loyal noodles are joining 3 individuals who cook, who clean, who pay bills, who will do certain things that, by society's definition, men don't normally do. Like, I do my fucking eyebrows.
Right, I do mine.
That's not a fucking thing that men normally do. I remember, my mom, when I first started doing my eyebrows, like, I found a barber that would do them. My mom would be like, stop that shit. And it wasn't so, like, she didn't really press it, but she would always say, like, stop doing that shit. And I'm like, for what? I'm just doing my eyebrows. Like, honestly,
like, I want to look good. You know what I'm saying?
Word. Now these motherfuckers is on fleek and I do it myself. But like that's weird. Like shit that men can't do. Gender roles, like taking out the trash. Um, I've met men that's like, oh, I don't cook or whatever. Like my wife does all this shit, but like they wife will have a job. So
Right.
I'm like, yo, your wife goes to work and then comes home and cook and clean, and all you do is sit your fat ass on the couch and drink fucking beer. Like I can't accept that shit. Like it's
Nah, my mom made sure she told me like I think I was like 8 or 9, and she made me and my brothers sit in the fucking kitchen. She was like, "Y'all gonna learn how to cook." She was like, "Y'all ain't leaving my house and having to depend on no fucking woman."
That's a fact.
So
Well, and
like,
this is
whenever
I'll
she would cook, bro, if we wasn't outside or we wasn't going, she said, "Y'all gonna sit here and watch me cook." That's how I learned how to cook rice. That's how I
yep.
learned how to cook arroz con anything like chuletas, pernil, like bro, anything, bro. Like, tell me,
yeah, I know Adam said rice. I don't send anything because
no, I'm talking about like arroz con pollo, arroz con dule, arroz con salchicha, like arroz con kielbasa, like just anything, bro.
that's what's up. That you got the twins behind the phone holding up signs on how to. So amazing, bro.
Nah, but you brought up a good point, Adam, and I think it also goes into another point, which is something that I've actually had heavy discussions on social media and off, and it's about being independent. Because if you raise a man under the thought that you never have to do certain things for yourself, what happens when you're in my position where you live by yourself and you're single? What, you gonna just be eating a cup of noodles and ordering food every day? Like, no, bro.
Yo,
Like,
how many
Really
soldiers
broke.
do you have? And I have a few, and it annoys the shit out of me, but I fuck with them all the time. How many soldiers do you have? And I'm not just speaking army, military, whatever. I'm just saying an example. How many soldiers do you have that, like, if their spouse is gone, they eat nothing but cereal and Pop Tarts?
right, exactly, and like I have a few, and like, I've actually had the conversation with them. I was like, bro, I live alone. I don't have a woman who cooks and cleans for me. I do my own laundry. I fold my own clothes. I cook my own food. I meal prep when I need to. I take care of my own bills. I do
Oh,
my
now
own
you lying.
taxes. Lying about what?
You don't meal prep.
Yes, he does. He comes home and preps his meal. and then comes home the next day and does the same shit. So,
but nah, like it breeds independence, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to like rely on nobody.
and I think it would also what it was is that if I look back on my life, and this is a chance for the loyal noodles to get to know the goodest noodle of them all, Willie Knight.
Oh, you
Shut the
lying.
fuck up.
The fans voted. The loyal noodle said, "I'm the goodest noodle."
I want to recount.
You was sliding 20s on Cash App.
You was sliding feet pics and gooch samples on Cash. Get the fuck out of here, and still lost. Anyway, it was very difficult for me to really identify gender roles because I was raised by women.
Right.
Grandmother, my sisters, my cousins, my mom, my aunts. Like, shout out to my uncles though. But it was the women that I was always around. And Janine went to work, and just in case this is your first episode listening, Janine was a construction worker. Janine worked in construction. That is by society. That's a man's job. That's a man's work.
Right.
And this single black mother went into that construction job, worked there for 20 years, if not longer, and retired one of the bosses.
Right.
Retired. Like, she did it. She retired. Like, her body's definitely paying for it now. But I didn't like a construction worker. My mom was one of the strongest people I knew. Like,
Right.
what? Like, so it was like gender roles. Like, a woman's supposed to be weak. You don't see women in the gym or whatever the case may be. And it's just like, that shit got nipped in the bud like quick. Like, I would play with dolls because I had cousins that didn't want to play with the action figures I had, so we just all play together. So it is what it is, and I guess that kind of nipped it in the bud. But I see like now where it's like, oh, don't do that because you're a boy, like, or you tell the kids like, stop acting like you're crying like a little girl, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, obviously,
Yeah, bro.
like, little boys cry too. Like, that shit killed. Like, I don't know. That I don't agree with that. I'm not gonna tell nobody how to parent, but that shit, that is toxic, my G. And if
Yeah.
it fits, then wear it. I don't give a fuck. You could hate me for it, but I'm just telling you. I'm gonna just tell it like it is. That's toxic as fuck. Don't be mad at your son because they think pink is cool.
Right.
Like, don't be mad at your daughter because they want to fucking work on their step back pull up 3 and not their fucking plies. Like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like,
rest in peace, Gigi.
Oh, damn. Why you gotta do that, Isaac? Rest in peace.
Sorry.
So let's move on to. I know we spoke on relationships a little bit. We could save that a little for last, but let's talk about toxic parenting. I just kind of segued into it. Let's talk about that. Like, what's your thought?
We touched a little bit on, you know, I think the toxic masculinity and, you know, the machismo aspect of it ties a little bit into, you know, parenting because, you know, we are who we're raised. You know what I'm saying? We are how we're raised. So, but toxic parenting, man, like it's wild that this is the topic that we're talking about because over the last couple of days, me and my mom have been talking about, like, you know, gaining clarity and a lot of things that happened when you know, as I was growing up, and a lot of things that she says that, you know, that she tries not to live with regrets, but there's certain things that she wishes she would have handled differently. And a big thing and a big topic of discussion, especially amongst us 90s kids and you know, over the years, is physical retribution a proper form of correction? And we could all be real here. At least the three of us here. I'm not gonna speak on Mel, but I feel like we can. We don't got our ass whooped growing up. And I do certainly believe that there is a fine line between discipline and abuse. Sometimes that line gets blurred. And I think the reason that line gets blurred is because sometimes parents don't discipline, they react. And I think that's where you kind of get in trouble. And that thing is, I got my ass whooped. And while I'm not the most wholesome and great human being that I possibly could be, it saved me.
You are the second goodest movie. So.
It saved me from a lot of shit because I didn't want to do certain things when I was 12 and 13 because I knew I was going to get home and get my ass whooped. And some of my friends...
What's the worst thing you got your ass whooped with?
With?
Shit, my mama's hands.
I was about to say, Janine got the paws, bro.
Sylvia got them hands.
Yo, Janine, knowing that her son, her baby boy had asthma, would proceed to cave my fucking chest in.
Yes, bro. Sylvia used to hit me with like De La Hoya fucking combos, bro. Like she used to tap my jaw, bro. And then, it's funny because one of the conversations that me and her had was actually yesterday, where we were talking about that there was one time specifically that she remembers. I was like 5 or 6, that like I just kept bugging her because my homeboy, well, her and his mom were like best friends. Like they were, you know, pretty much since they got to the States, they were together. So naturally, me and him were close, and she was giving him money. His mom was giving him money to do something. And I kept bugging mom, like, Mom, I need money. And like, you know, as a little kid or whatever. And she just kept telling me, no. And I kept going. And honestly, I think...
hooked your ass.
No, listen, bro. Like, I think... I remember a lot of shit from when I was that age. I do. From when I was like 5 or 6 years old, surprisingly, there's a lot of shit that I remember. I think my brain blocked his memory out specifically because she said it's the worst that she's ever hit me in the face. She said that I was standing next to her and she just cocked back and smacked me to the point where like my top lip and my bottom lip were bleeding, like gushing bleeding. And she said that to this day, that memory haunts her because she felt like she wasn't disciplining me. She was reacting to something that I was doing.
She hit you with the Sharkeisha.
Yo, bro, that's all my mama. Like, that's how I know I blocked it out. I blocked it out, bro, because she said it was bad. So I think that's part of toxic parenting because as us being parents now, I've put hands on Isaiah, I've put hands on Manny, but there's always a limit. You know what I'm saying? Like Manny doesn't turn 2 till fucking August. So he my bad, dog. August, April, Isaiah and Manny both have A months. But I've popped Manny in the hand, I've popped Manny in the butt, but it's always with a correction. Like let's say he got popped in the butt because he didn't throw something out in the trash where he was supposed to. I'm going to pop him, and then I'm going to take him over and show him exactly what he needs to correct. And popping him isn't always my first recourse as well. So I think, you know, that's part of it.
I think here's where I'm I'm learning as a girl dad, with my stepdad license or whatever. Like I'm learning that principle of just disciplining, like discipline versus abuse. I don't abuse the kids. I just like sometimes like Nancy will tell me like the punishment is just too ridiculous. Like, but what I'm learning to do because
bro, kids can't get punished like we got punished.
No, they can't, and it's still not the same because a lot of my punishments were you can't go outside. It's fucking terrible, bro. So go outside. And that means I gotta look out I don't gotta look out my window to know the whole block is outside because I hear everybody outside having a good time and I'm just in the house. Like I don't want to watch
my mom.
TV.
I did that shit one time. My mom walked in my room and saw I was looking out the window, and it was like she just knew I was having fun. Like I was outside, bro. She whooped my ass, and I was like, bro, I ain't even doing nothing. Like I'm inside.
Yo,
like you told me.
It's damn near a reward if I tell my kids they not going outside.
Right.
We're not. Yes. Doing this shit more often, bro. I'm telling you. Nah, they fucking. I feel like some like punishments, at least the way I see it, and I could totally be wrong. The loyal noodles are gonna tell me if I'm tripping. Like punishments should be useful. Like you got to know your kid. Like if your kid struggles with writing, if they're on punishment, they're gonna be writing something.
Right.
If they're struggling with reading, if they're on punishment, they're gonna be reading something.
Facts.
Like clean, like something like, okay, now you go clean this, but it's not time for my chores yet. We'll go clean it anyway, and then later do your chores.
Right.
Like it has to, like I don't know, because my punishments, especially like once I got in the army or even that fucking when I started working, like my punishment seemed like at the end of the punishment I was better at something. So
right,
I don't put hands on any of the five at all. I'd be wanting to, but. Obviously not a Moray. She just she's a baby. But it's just the to me the toxicness, and I'm guilty of it too. Toxic parenting is the back in my day shit too.
Right.
Like back in my literally what we just did. But like back in my day, because back in my day, like this is gonna be that. Like I don't know. I think that's fucking toxic too. Like I think you have to find a way to really like implement those principles and that ethic or whatever the case in your kids without making them feel bad because they were born in a different generation than you. Like
right.
That can't fucking be a thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because like back in the day, quote unquote, if my punishment was going to be, you know, I couldn't use electronics or whatever the case may be. It was limited. TV, and even when we started getting, you know, AIM and internet, my mom would just unplug the damn computer. Now they got so many damn options: the tablet, the fucking switch, the console, the phone, the TV itself, the smart TVs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's different levels to it now because now, right? So now, like, the levels of punishment are. The weight is distributed differently because as to where, like you just said, Willie, our punishment used to be you can't go outside. For them, that's almost like a reward now.
Word.
Bro, like I would hate that shit.
So another thing that we're gonna talk about is toxic communication. And I know we said it was like one of our least favorite parts when the communication is not right, but we're gonna segue into more so just toxic communication. What I mean by that is communication that you think is good and only you think is good.
Well, I gotta go on for toxic communication.
Well, go ahead. Start it off then. I got a few examples, but go ahead. Speak on it.
Speak on it.
Manipulation.
Ooh, talk about it.
So it's like, it's just weird, bro. Like people really be like out here getting people to do shit just off face value, or getting people to do shit out of like you're using the love somebody has for you to like put them down or put them in a shitty situation.
Yeah.
Like all jokes aside, like I had to get on.
You're using the pedestal that they put you on and put yourself on a higher pedestal.
Yeah, or like, bro, like I don't even know how to explain it, but like I've seen it, and it's just like that shit. That's horrible, bro. Like, how can you be such a narcissist that you like have to be so highly of yourself that you have to manipulate somebody or degrade somebody to an extent that
makes you feel better about yourself.
Yeah, like that shit's wild, bro.
I think
I had to get on the.
Go ahead.
I was about to say I had to get on the Twins yesterday because Anthony wanted to he was like finessing the shit out of Alex. like I was like, I watched Alex clean the kitchen, do the dishes, do like sweep the floor, wipe the counters. Then this motherfucker went upstairs, cleaned the bathroom, and threw out the trash in all the bathrooms. And then
what was Anthony doing?
Bruh, this motherfucker was sitting right next to me watching TV.
And hold on, that's your fault, Adam. That's not Anthony's fault. No, that's you, bro.
No.
Hell yeah, because you let it rock.
Listen. You
he over there laughing with Anthony too, like, yo, you saw that shit? That was crazy, right?
Nah, because I told them that they have to do their chores so they could play the game.
Oh,
bruh.
That might be my new thing.
So, and then they have to do their chores right. You can't do them half-assed and then think you're going to play the game.
Facts.
So, this motherfucker, Anthony, told Alex, he was like, oh, you my big brother. Mind you, these niggas is apart literally by 10 seconds. Like, damn. Anthony was born at 10:54. No, Alex was born at 10:54. And then, like, literally 10 seconds later, Anthony came out.
Damn, that motherfucker was like, yo, where you going? Let's go. So be out.
So, bro, but the 10 seconds, like, it just crossed over to the next minute. You know what I'm saying? So
10:55.
So, but bro, I was like, yo, why are you doing everything and your brother's not doing it? And then I didn't say anything to Anthony because I'm like, yo, like, you really watching this man do everything. Then you're going to come down here and ask me if you play the video games. So I was just watching. So then Alex comes down and he was like, yo, Dad, can I play the game? And at first, like, I was like, nah, man, y'all can't play. And I was like, matter of fact, I was like, bro, tell me everything you did. And then he was like, then he listed off everything. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, hey, matter of fact, you play the game. I was like, tell your brother he can't play. And then I was like, what did he tell you to make you do everything?
Right.
He's like, man, he keeps telling me, I'm the big brother and I got to play the role. And
yo, the finesse.
And I do this better than him, and it's because I'm the big brother and all. Wow. And I was like, yo, he finessed the shit out of you.
He finessed. You got finessed so bad you don't even deserve to play the game anymore.
Yo, facts.
Bro, like, I was like, yo, and then but whenever it's Anthony that, like, Alex will always help Anthony, no matter what. Like, he'll go to back for him. Bro, whenever Anthony need to do something, whenever it's the other foot and it's all Alex got to do something, bro, Anthony ain't trying to help that nigga with nothing. And I had to tell Alex, I was like, bro, he does not care. Like, he only wants to play the game. That's all his goal is.
That's it.
And I was like, bro, he's manipulating the shit out of you. Just so you can.
That's pretty toxic. But you should have him build on that in a very beneficial. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm sure there's ways. I think what a lot of people do, and again, if the boot fits, don't wear it. It's like when you're expecting somebody to know something because of the status of your friendship or relationship. Like, that shit is toxic because it's like you're not fully telling me what's up. And you're thinking because we're so close or we're at a certain level in our friendship, relationship, marriage, whatever the case may be, that I'm supposed to just fucking know. Like, even if it's a repeated offense or something like that, but like it's I don't know, that shit just bothers me when you don't fully tell somebody something and then you expect them to know everything without telling them. Like, that's toxic. Like, you are not helping because now you're even holding them accountable for fucking not knowing. Like, you're mad at me. Like, I'm terrible with birthdays. I'm fucking horrendous. Like, I love Isaac to death, but I know the nigga's birthday is in August. That's it. That's all
I know you. I know you. The only reason I know your birthday is because it's the day after Manny's.
Right, August 3rd. That's and the only reason Isaac. I've known Manny for about 2 hours. I know his birthday, but I don't know yours.
Right.
But as I know yours is in August, I know it's getting close. I know it's after mine.
Right.
I'm like, okay, it's towards
his birthday's the 20th.
Yeah.
Okay, Adam, that don't make you a better friend, bitch. Get the fuck.
Nah, I'm just saying. The only reason why I know is because my
Don't try to get your way up
day.
on the Good Noodles list.
Right.
Nah, but so, you speak in facts, Willie.
I think that shit really bothers me. Like, don't expect me to know what's wrong with you and you're not telling me. Like,
so one thing that I've learned over the years and just relationships, platonic or not platonic, like ask the question. And if the person chooses not to tell you, you did your part by asking, like, hey, you good? You straight? What's going on? Do you want to talk about it? If the person says, hey, I don't want to talk about it, then you offer your ear. Hey, look, if you do ever want to talk about it or if you need help figuring some stuff out, I'm here for you. That's all you can do. Now, if the person decides to lay it all on you and vent and give you everything, like, then you take it and you just take it in and you help them out best you can. But like, you 100% correct. Like, just like you said, like people end up holding other people accountable for some shit that they don't even know that they're accountable for.
Man, you know, I think Isaac, you and I have had this conversation before, and I've been through it myself where you're going through something and you expect people in your life to bring you out of it.
Right.
And you put that pressure on them and it's not up to them. Right. I'm telling you right now, if you are going through something in life, to the loyal noodles at home or wherever you are, if you are going through something in life and it is mentally and emotionally or spiritually affecting you in a negative way, it is nobody's responsibilities to properly handle that but you. Mm-hmm. If I'm and when I was going through something, I was at a very dark time in my life. People close to me were confused. Isaac was confused. Like, this nigga Rich don't fuck with me no more. Willie don't fuck me. Like, me and Willie must not be boys because he's just not talking to me like that. Like, you know, like my first daughter's mom, like we were just going through it and I was at this time of my life and I'm just expecting everyone to pull me out of it. And I'm getting mad at everyone because I'm not feeling better.
Right.
And guess what? Because it wasn't fucking up to them.
Right.
No, even if like somebody did something to me, even if it was specifically something that somebody did to me, it's still not up to them to pull me out of it. I have to pull myself out of it. So that's another thing, people. Somebody did something to you. Yes, they are responsible for some form of apology, remorse, something like that. But it is not their responsibility to make you feel better about it.
I agree. And I mean, you bring up that, you know, that time in your life and that specific, that specific scenario. And I remember when you finally came out on the other end, I wanted to punch you in your fucking chest because I was like, all you had to do was say you needed help, bro. Right. Like I was here to talk because I remember
it comes into like, bro, people don't want to ask for help, and that's an ego thing. And it's more
it's pride.
Yeah, like, and then we just, I mean, but that's also like a stigma with men. Like we don't want to ask for help. We don't want to talk to people.
Yeah, but I mean, I've seen the ladies do it too. I've seen the ladies be real prideful.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like, as a man, like, society. I won't even say people. Society. Now people are more pro, like, oh, you should talk to somebody. Oh, you should get around the right people so you could feel comfortable to tell them what's going on. But like before, bro, like, nah, bro, like if you're going through some, fam, you got to figure that shit out, like just on your own. Like, I don't know what you got to do, but you need to figure that shit out. And then that shit will sometimes eat people up alive and it'll rip them apart from the inside out, bro. And like, like, I ain't even joking, bro. Like, that shit can cause somebody to kill themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about
like, absolutely. It can put somebody in that dark of a position, within themselves, bro.
Facts. Speak on it, bro.
So, and don't nobody need to go through that, bro. Like, we've all we've all had our own little trials and tribulations that we had to go through, and like our own dark past that we had to go through, like straight in life, bro. But like, I ain't even trying to be no suicide awareness, but like nothing's that deep, fam. Like you always need to, you always need to talk to somebody. Like,
yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's tough to determine like what's important to you and what's important to them when it comes to that. Like if they're taking it that far, like there's always a way, like 48,000, I think it was 48,344 people committed suicide in America in 2020. And I'm pretty sure there were people close to them or whatever the case and this is only the reported. We don't know,
right?
Give or take. There's somebody close to them that was like, damn, like I wish you would have told me your story or something, like
right.
I wish I would have known so I could do something or whatever the case may be. But
that kind of leads us into what I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be the last phase of this main topic, which is toxic friendships, because we kind of tied it all in, speaking on friendships and what people are expected to do. And I know for me, specifically, I can speak on things, not necessarily something that I've been through or am going through, but like things that I've witnessed. One big one with toxic friendships is that parasitic type of relationship where like somebody just feeds off of you and they take and they take and they take. And it's like,
that's a shit.
Leech. Right. So, yeah, I remember the book, The Giving Tree?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
When a little boy used to go to the tree and just take
apples.
Yeah, and just to take and take and take and take until the tree had nothing else to give.
And he was like, fuck this tree.
Right. So, I mean, I've seen it to where like, I've seen where so-called friendships, one person uses another person as a stepping stool to make themselves look better.
Man, I tell you.
Boy, and I've witnessed it firsthand, like to where like you have this friendship that has made it through the years and they've been friends for forever and all this kind of stuff. And then you just see it where like there's one person that like, for example, they'll be in a public setting and like they'll use that other friend to make themselves look good, or always put that other person down to make themselves look even better. Like, you can have somebody who's losing weight and they're in the gym and they, that's cool and all, and that's all within, your lane, and I'm happy for you. But they point out the fact that their so-called friend is still overweight or whatever the case may be. So to focus that and shift that attention on what they're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Way to go, fat ass.
Right. Like, so I've seen that, man. And it's sad because a lot of the times it goes one or two ways. Either the other person knows that person's doing it, but they just feel like their self-esteem is so low from dealing with it for so long that they just allow it to happen, or the other person doesn't realize it because that's just what they're used to.
Yeah, bro, I've seen that too. Like people will really be used to getting put down so much, like.
Yep.
But like, regardless of this, kind of goes back to the whole parenting thing, bro. Like, it also goes back to like how you're raised or how you came up. Like, if that's something they were used to as a child, like, and that's what they're accustomed to, and because it's like, I really feel like a lot of shit that we deal with starts with our upbringing.
Absolutely, I agree. And I mean, like it's funny because we just keep circling back around, like to the way we started the podcast is being a product of the environment. Like you have people witness certain things, and whether it was intentional or not, things that you witnessed growing up kind of ingrain who you are as a person. Whether it was intentional that somebody was trying to raise you to be a certain way, but if you see something, enough times you start to feel like that's the norm and that's the way things are supposed to be. So one or two things happens. You either assert yourself as that friend who uses people, or you assert yourself as that person that's constantly getting used.
Yeah. I think with friendships, I think that, and I've seen this a lot, and that shit just don't sit right with me when it's like, oh, like if they're not contributing to your money, then you shouldn't keep them around. And I'm like, that's fucking dumb.
Yeah, that's dumb as shit.
Because I'm not asking my friends to be my employees or my employers. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, if we boys or we're friends or whatever, I'm not worried about, like, I'm not worried about
what's in your pocket.
in my pocket. Like, bro,
your love is worth more than money or monetarily anything.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I just like that shit kills me. Like, you're gonna stop talking to someone. You're gonna stop being their friend because you're moving further in life than them. And I'm like, I understand, like, there might just be some toxic friends that just want you to be stuck in the old, like, in the old,
right?
Like, let's be out in the streets all the time, partying, whatever. And then, you know, like, I started a family, you don't have a family, the lifestyle you live or whatever doesn't really support that of someone who has to wake up tomorrow and put kids on the school bus or whatever the case.
Right.
I get
But
that
within
part.
itself is toxic.
Yes. So it's just like you can't be mad at me because I have a life. Not to say you don't, but because I have a different life. I'll say that. Like, you can't be mad at me because I have a different life. That's just what it was. There's been plenty of times where myself and Isaac or Matt or Adam or Mel, where one of us will invite the other one to do something, and I'm like, those are like single person activities. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not sure if I can really indulge in that, like, the way I never have.
And it's funny that you say that, because I was having a conversation the other day, and it didn't take, because this is the first time I've been, Willie, you know me probably the longest, obviously. This is the longest I've been consecutively single in a very long time.
Oh, you're single?
Shut the fuck up, Adam. You know what? I was going to say something, but I'm not going to put you out on the podcast. Anyway, so it's weird because this
putting him out enough.
So it's weird, honestly, because I remember having conversations with Willie, you know, when he was, you know, starting to develop, you know, his relationship that eventually turned into a marriage, where it was like, sometimes it was hard for me to understand and be like, well, why can't you do this? And, you know, I was in a relationship, well, why can't I do this with my friends? But now, from the outside looking in, I'm like, I'm single, and whether I choose to be at the house or be out, which I rarely go out, I'm a homebody, but like, if I wanted to be out, I'm not going to invite Willie or Adam to do fucking single guy activities.
Isaac don't go out, so he took it upon himself to turn his living room into a club. That's why the fuck he got them damn LED. That's why he got them LED lights in
the. He got the hookah right beside his foot.
Yo, the hookah is behind the fucking iPad, ready. So, see, look, now y'all coming behind the scenes of the Good Noodles Podcast.
Right.
Adam got the twins behind the fucking phone, holding up fucking
flashcards.
Fucking flashcards in Spanish. What did we say this shit was, Isaac?
Hooked on Phoenix.
It's hooked on Phoenix in the background with the big ass flashcard. See, he made Anthony do it because Anthony didn't do his chores, so he made Anthony on the poster tag. Hold this shit up. And then fucking Isaac got the hookah behind the iPad because it's Monday night or two. I don't even know what night it is.
It's Monday night.
Sorry.
And then Willie got Nancy as his ghostwriter, making sure he says everything properly.
All right, you about to get put in the waiting room again. I knew it. I knew he was gonna get put in the waiting room again.
That's crazy. I don't accept such negativity in my life. Fuck you, Adam. We have a special guest on the show. Please welcome our special guest, Adam Maldonado. With your bitch ass.
So honestly, back to the topic at hand, like, it's one of those things where it was a moment of reflection to me. Like, I need to, like, if I want to do single guy activities, I need to hang out with single guys, because what I want to do is not what y'all can or even want to do. Because if I'm like, you know, just hanging out in the town now, that doesn't mean that you on a rare occasion, you know, could be like, yo, you know what, I just want to have a boys' night, you know, hang out with Isaac.
If I walk in this damn house at some 2:05 in the morning smelling like stripper glitter and bad decisions, you best believe we about to start a new episode of the First 48. Except this one won't take an hour. We know who did it.
We're live from Fort Irwin.
Right.
We're local staff, man. has been brought into custody. Right.
So honestly, too, the flip side of that coin as well is not only where it's one or the other, but when it's symbiotic, when both people in the friendship are actually bad for each other, where they're always pushing each other to make bad decisions. Like you got the one friend who clearly struggles with substances, like struggles with alcohol or drugs, whatever the case may be. Like they have certain addictions, and instead of being a good friend, that person just pushes them or encourages them for them to do it.
Apparently, apparently, this sounds familiar to somebody because all I hear right now, y'all don't hear it, but all I hear in the background is,
We done got better, Mrs. Knight.
So I know this may come as a
flashcard away now.
I know this may come as a surprise to our loyal noodles, but yours truly, the goodest noodle of them all.
Barely.
At one point, barely. I won by 12 points, bitch. You better do the math. Fucking apparently myself and Mr. Isaac over here were literally what the fuck he just said. Like we were just not good for each other at the time, and we were just
solid. It was a solid 6 month stretch. It was a solid 6 months.
It was like what, like December 2017 to about like when did I leave? July, so 8 months. Yeah, that was it. Just that was
rough.
Okay, so lastly, I know Isaac said there was one more thing, but we did miss something, and I didn't want to fucking talk about it. Toxic femininity is a fucking thing, my people. So I understand like there's a lot of machismo going on, like men are above women and all this other shit, but women are the same, can do the same fucking thing, and that's just facts. It's equally as toxic. Like for example, like there's some, and again, ladies, like if the shoe fits, then fucking wear it, and I hope it's red bottoms. But like there's women that claim all the time that the father of their child is a fucking piece of shit and all this other stuff, but then they raise their child to be just like that motherfucker. Like, what are you doing? Or you're projecting the traumas you've had with men onto the men in your life, whether it's your boyfriend, husband, son, whatever the fuck. That's fucking toxic. Like, because somebody did that shit to you once upon a time, now you are projecting that onto someone else.
And using your kids as a pawn is fucking toxic.
Very. Very. So like
don't do that shit.
And then you sit here and you're one of the parents that are like, you're sitting here watching your son cry because he's a little kid or whatever the fuck, he's in trouble. And then you're sitting here like fucking stop crying like a little girl, this, that, and the third. And you're going through all of that stuff. And then you're wondering why the father of your child or your boyfriend or whatever the fuck he is won't express himself to you. Because guess what? You are raising that. You are literally letting him know that he should not express himself. So he's going to grow older and become a very reserved and quiet and keeping my shit to myself type of fucking person. And it's going to drive his significant other fucking crazy because he's not going to know how to express himself. He's not going to fucking care to express himself. And it's just fucking toxic. Stop trying to and this is for all people, not just women, but we're talking about toxic femininity. Don't fucking sit here and try to bash somebody for expressing themselves. That's including your kids. Stop fucking doing that shit. Like,
no, I agree, and I think it's toxicity as a whole. It sees no color, it sees no gender, it sees no background, it sees no national origin. It don't see anything like that. You toxic. There's, just like you said, women can do the same thing as men when it comes to being toxic. And honestly, one recurring theme that I've seen when it comes to toxic femininity is women, like you said, who raised their children in the same kind of hate that they felt towards themselves. So it's like, as as agents of change, and I feel that's what we are as parents. We are agents of change. We want to change. We want to break the cycle. That's our job. If me growing up, I didn't, but if I was raised by a toxic mother, I don't want to push that to my kids. I want to be the person that makes that change and breaks that cycle in my family. What a lot of times that I see is that hurt and that pain that some women endure from whether it was the father of the child or their own fathers, they push that down to their kids. And especially if they have boys, like they push it down because they see their son as a surrogate for that father that left them, or as a surrogate for that man that didn't stay in their life once they got pregnant. You know what I'm saying? Break the cycle, be different.
And it's crazy because like whenever like you just talk to them, like say whenever we had like, I'm not in the army no more, but like whenever you would have soldiers and shit and you would talk to them, like, and they could tell you about their situations, like you're saying, Isaac, bro, they dramatize so much. Like the female there's that word again, but the woman
soldier will
the soldier of the opposite sex of me, no, but then they made traumatize like the whole situation, and then you go and talk to the dude, or like you go and try to do your due diligence and talk to the spouse, and then they be like, nah, fam, it ain't even like that.
So I see what you're saying. I feel like that's not limited to gender though, because I know plenty of male soldiers who be like, well, my wife's a B word and she don't do shit and she don't do this and she don't do that. I'm at work all day. And then you go to, do a fucking welfare check and you go to the house is clean, dinner's made. He just mad because he don't let her play the video game when he get home. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he's just mad because he got to go home and fucking be a husband.
Right. So I get what you're saying, Adam, but I don't think that's limited to gender though, because I've seen it plenty of times.
I'm saying, but like, since we was talking about.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, bro.
It's toxic behavior, people. Like, just fucking don't be so goddamn dramatic.
Right.
Like,
stop exaggerating.
You don't have to exaggerate the details to get the person that you're listening to sway towards your side. Like, I think a lot of these things are not gender specific. I know we might have said masculinity or femininity or this, that, and the third. Yo, if that sounds like you, then you should probably do some soul searching. Like,
you need to check yourself before you not only wreck yourself, but everything around you.
Somebody else.
Right.
And then don't be mad because we were right about you. Like,
right.
Don't stop listening. You probably already did. Like, don't sit here and try to give us some bitter ass feedback.
Nah, fuck them.
Yeah, like these fucking misogynistic assholes and like, yo, relax.
Like, we just speaking in general. We not pointing this at nobody.
We are speaking in general, but yes, we did say some masculinity, some femininity. And it's just the way we fucking see it. These are just our opinions.
But it's like I said, man, like toxic behavior sees no gender, no color, no race, no national origin, no age. If you toxic, you toxic. And the thing is,
I think we made it clear that we have all indulged in toxic behaviors.
100%. I've been on both ends of plenty of toxic behaviors that we already talked about.
I'm not putting myself above anybody who toxic shit. I'm just a little more aware. There's still toxic shit that I indulge in now that
I went through a time period for about 3 or 4 years where I was probably the most toxic motherfucker on the planet. It's like there was a time in my life where it was bad.
Somewhere around like 2015 to about 2019.
Sometime.
He said 4.
No, I'm a better man than I was in 2015. Trust me.
That's a damn
barely.
All right. So one time around the room, anybody got any last comments, issues, complaints, gripes?
Toxic is toxic, but on a much lighter note, my people, don't forget. The Good Noodles are trying to put some money in your motherfucking pocket.
Facts.
We ain't get no submissions or nothing.
I'm about to submit myself and send myself my money.
I'm gonna just do it myself. I might just create a burner and then just have to do it that way. But I'm telling y'all, like, look, this is no bullshit, people. Listen, Loyal Noodles, we are trying to put money in your pocket via Cash App, PayPal, Google Pay, Apple Pay, whatever. I fucking get a money
Venmo, Zelle,
all of it.
I send a messenger pigeon if you live in that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yo, we are trying to put some money in your hand. It's not gonna cost you anything. You don't have to send us weird feet pics. We don't got to see your cleavage. You don't got to give us no recipes. Nothing. You don't got to give us.
Hey, you have a recipe of tres leche? Holla at me. I need that.
That's a fact, though.
Facts.
I'll take a tres leches recipe.
Facts.
But yo, you don't got to do no weird shit. All you have to do is subscribe to the YouTube channel, share it with your friends and family, and then have them comment your name under the video. That's it. For the last episode we did, it's the video that has the money as the icon, as the little thumbnail. That's it. That's all you have to do is get your friends and family to comment your name. Or they're like, yo, fuck you, I'm going to comment my own name. I don't give a fuck. Whoever has the most fucking votes or names or whatever the case by the Monday before Valentine's Day will get it. And we will call them or contact them live while we're doing the show to let them know that they won.
Thank you again, Good Noodles, for, Loyal Noodles for listening as usual. Y'all know where to find us. Instagram at Good Noodles Podcast. Twitter at Good Noodles Podcast. Facebook, Good Noodles Podcast. Spotify, Apple, all that shit. Wherever you need to find us, I promise you, we gonna be there. Just staring at you, waiting on you to listen.
Waiting for our notifications to go off.
That's a fact. So, Willie, go ahead and take us out as you usually do, and we'll go ahead and wrap it up.
Alrighty then. This is Willie Knight, the goodest noodle of them all, alongside my brothers Isaac, Bruga, Papi, Champu, Chancleta, Chuleta, Moreta, and Mr. Adam. Dad hats are us, Maldonado. We are the Good Noodles on the Good Noodles Podcast. Thank you for tuning in.
All right, on that note, Good Noodles, we out of here.
Peace, love, and soul.
Say your